Galway are through to an All-Ireland semi-final after beating Tipperary by 2 points here at the Gaelic grounds, and let's be honest, Henry Shefflin's side were full value for their victory against Tipperary here. They dominated much of the game, played it on their terms, and really they should have won it by maybe 9 or 10 points. But Liam Cahill's definitely going to be in for a winter of soul searching after that performance, because Tipperary were not impressive at all. Didn't give up, and John McGrath got that goal late on, which could have made it quite tricky, and it did give Tipperary an opportunity to get back into a game when they were wildly behind, 8 points behind at one stage, and got it back to within one. But certainly Galway were value for it, and Tom Monaghan coming in and firing over 3 points was huge. Cianan Fahy had a big game. He was thrown into the starting lineup in place of Conor Cooney, and he certainly repaid his manager there. Scored a couple of points. He won so much ball. Even towards the end, he took down a puck out with his stick straight into the hand, popped it off to Evan Nyland, then ran across the Tipp defender who was looking to block Nyland. Really clever play. And he's certainly going to stay in the team for the All-Ireland semi-final against Limerick. And I think Galway are going to feel like they have a very good chance in that game now, especially with Limerick being without Declan Hannon. Of course, we already know Sean Finn is out for the season. So all of a sudden, the semi-finals, which will see Clare against Kilkenny and Limerick against Galway, are looking very, very enticing. Conor Whelan, from a couple of games ago when he was struggling against Dublin and struggling before that against Galway at Nolan Park in the group game, round 2, he's now vaulted himself into the Hurler of the Year conversation. He was brilliant in the Leinster final against Kilkenny the last day, more out in the half forward line, closer to goal here against Tipperary. He gave Cathal Barrett a torrid time, and Michael Breen, who was on him at other occasions as well. He scored 1-4, and really and truly he could have scored far more. He had 4 goal chances, between half chances and great chances in the first half, and Galway should have been out of sight during that period. He really did give an exhibition. It just didn't quite come off at the end of it for him. Evan Nyland, he knocked over his frees, of course. Joseph Cooney, he was getting stuck in. Sean Linan, he was stuck to Noel McGrath throughout the game from early on. And very combative stuff from him, which you probably wouldn't have expected that much. Now, Galway sat back and really just tried to isolate Kevin Cooney, who was very good as a target man, and Conor Whelan up front. And Tipperary's trouble then was they were trying to work the ball up the field, and there was so much Galway traffic, and rather than being patient and trying to work it around the fringes, they instead either tried to run it up to the middle through the traffic, try to work it out the fringes where they were hitting traffic, or go long in on top of Grode, McInerney, Daithí Burke, Pádraig Mannion and so on, and just got so little joy from it. Galway created 23 chances in the first half, Tipperary just 15, and it just shows how much of a waste of time the 7:38 against Offaly really was, and how little preparation it was for this game. During that first half, Seamus Callan, he forced the only goal chance for Tipperary when intercepting a puck out from Éanna Murphy. He tried to run it in and dallied for a little bit of a second and then blasted the shot off a defender, but Tipperary didn't really create a goal chance until in the second half when Noel McGrath popped the ball over the top for Alan Tynan, and he just fired wide. But at half time, Seamus Callan was taken off, Mark Keogh was taken off, they were both scoreless. Jake Morris stayed on the field throughout, didn't score either. Grode O'Connor made a huge contribution when he came on. He got a point, he set up a couple of scores, and one would assume that he wasn't fully fit after that injury against Waterford. He obviously came on the last day against Offaly, but surely the only reason that he didn't start this game was that they didn't feel he had 70 minutes in him. But Tipperary as well, because Galway had sat back, the way that Tipperary could have punished Galway was by shooting from distance, but I don't think it was really possible for Tipperary with some of the players that they had around the middle of the field. Now, Dan McCormick would usually be around the middle, but at times he was actually man-marking Conor Whelan at full back early on until Tipp made a switch. But some of the players like himself, Alan Tynan, Conor Stapleton, albeit with his 6 points from against Offaly notwithstanding, Seamus Kennedy, these players can all score a point or two, but they're unlikely to be able to punish Galway enough from distance to really be able to, I suppose, force Galway to come out the field a little bit and create that space inside. So Galway, tactically, you'd have to say Henry Shefflin got the edge here. For Liam Cahill, there's going to be a lot of soul searching over the winter and try to figure out what went wrong, what players he can bring through. Can he get Barry Heffernan back fit soon? Craig Morgan, obviously, who appeared against Offaly before pulling up. Ger Brown, Paddy Cadell, some of the under-20s, but I think Galway are going to be very pleased with this. It's a coming-of-age performance for Cianan Fahy. Conor Whelan's in the Hurler of the Year conversation now. There's more from Brian Kincannon. Conor Cooney came on, did okay. Jason Flynn did okay as well, and Fintan Burke came on and won a couple of frees as well. So there's a lot of reasons for Galway to feel optimistic. They've got Daithí Burke there, they've got Grode McInerney, who's a fighter, Jack Grealish and Darren Morrissey, they did fine as well. So I think Galway are going to feel hugely relieved at this performance, because if Galway had to go out today, there would have been big question marks about Henry Shefflin's tenure. But now, after getting a first huge championship win, I know they bet Cork last year, But the manner of that performance, they just eked it out. They bossed this game. They should have won by more than 2, but there were nerves. You know, there's always a puck of a ball between these two counties, these neighbours. But Galway are through to an All-Ireland semi-final. Huge victory here, and they'll really feel like there's a chance in that semi-final against Limerick.